And welcome to Arts Talk Online. It's Wednesday, February 8th. I'm Bill Roberts.
I'm Jennifer Boudreau.
How is everybody? It's good to see you again. And look at the locations we get to shoot in.
I'm kind of afraid of the dark, so I'm not going to lie, I'm a little
Last
uncomfortable.
week we were at Festival Place. The last 2 weeks we were at Festival Place out in Sherwood Park. We've been able to shoot all over the place. And now today we are at the Lobby DVD Shop on White. This is on 108 and 105 White Ave, and it is such a neat location. They have so many cool DVDs dealing with the horror genre. There's so much to see down here, and it's not a really big room, but man, you could spend all day looking at movies here.
And I've been surprised at some of the celebrities that I've seen in the various movies around here that I didn't even think had done horror films. I guess they've all got those skeletons in their closets.
There you go. So as usual, now this show's again a little bit different because it's a special show because we're staying in this environment and we're going to be talking about Dead Fest, a film festival coming up.
Yep.
Lee Conrad will be back, but we're going to have him just do kind of a longer review. He's going to sit down with the owner of the shop, Kevin Martin, and they're going to talk about some film. So that'll be good.
I have $15 on Lee, so hopefully he wins this battle.
$15 on Lee. Well, okay. I didn't know we were betting wherever that came from.
Well, you're lending me the $15.
The last time I had $20 got turned into $5 on this show, so I'm not doing that anymore. But anyway,
invested for $30 now.
we have two guests on the show. Kevin Martin, as I mentioned, the owner, and who's our other guest, Jennifer?
I don't know. Derek, I'm not sure what his last name is, but he is also a partner with Kevin in the Dead Fest.
Excellent. Well, why don't we actually throw to Lee, because he's going to sit down with Kevin and they're going to chat all about a film for us.
Are they just doing one, or are they going? I think they're doing Michael Bain.
Michael Bain.
They're
so
discussing Michael Bain films.
Talk about a few. So we'll see how this goes. Lee.
Welcome to Movie Reflections with Lee Conrad and my good buddy Kevin Martin. We're going to talk about good old Michael Bain. And we're going to talk about some of the different movies he's been in. Now, granted, he's not necessarily the biggest household name out there, but he's worked with some pretty big
guys. He's the guy that has worked with the big guys. It's funny, Lee, with him coming to town, everybody that's like, and I'm telling them, like, Michael Bain's coming to town. They're like, who's that? And I'm like, you know who that is. And then all I do is show them the picture. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That guy.
The guy. Kyle Reese. Was it Hicks?
There
you go.
Johnny Ringo.
Gotta love that.
And you know what? I feel... Let's not forget Navy SEAls. As much as he probably wanted to forget Navy SEAls, he did work with Charlie Sheen.
Yep.
And that's pretty sweet.
There you go. So you got the popularity going right there for him. But today Kevin and I are gonna banter back and forth. What role do you think was his best?
Well, I mean, is it a cop-out to say Terminator as Kyle Reese?
Well, I mean, that's really his breakout
because
role, right?
It's funny. People, when they think about Terminator, it's the Arnold movie. But I don't know who had more screen time in that movie. If you think about it, he did.
He totally did.
Yeah, and it's funny because I guess apparently Michael Bain, all the questions people ask him, whenever they ask him what was it like working with Arnold, he's like, he just doesn't dig that question because if you think about the movie, he never actually interacted.
He's running away from him the whole bloody time. He doesn't act with him. It hardly happens.
Yeah, but I gotta be honest. I just recently watched it again last week in preparation. I hadn't seen Tombstone in about 15 years.
And that's a brilliant movie. That scene with him and Val Kilmer at the end there is just fantastic.
As far as insanity and awesome villains go, Johnny Ringo, definitely right up there.
He looks awesome in the mustache. Awesome
Absolutely.
in the mustache. And one of other favorite role of his that I liked, and oddly enough, one of my favorite movies, Clock Stoppers.
Wow, way to pull that one out.
Jonathan Frakes, right there. Jonathan Frakes, directing that little puppy there, has Michael Bain as the bad guy throughout from start to finish. I mean, that's pretty neat. I mean, it's low key, kids kind of sci-fi thing, but still pulls it out of the park. Really.
Oh yeah, and it's weird because like on a depressing, emotional note, I loved him in The Rock, and people keep forgetting he was in The Rock.
You know what? I honestly did until you posted that clip.
I tell you, man, that scene where he's like the head of the Navy SEALs and he's helping Connery and Cage get into Alcatraz, but that emotional scene where him and his soldiers, they're toast, and Ed Harris does not want to kill him, and they lower your weapons. No, I can't do that. No, yes, you. Man, when the gunfire ended, I was all like. I mean, I love Ed Harris, and man, that was just one of the most depressing macho standoffs. It's up there, man. It got me choked up.
It totally makes you cry. Now, I mean, The Abyss. Now, you would almost miss him in that movie if not for the crazy antics he ends up pulling near the end of the film. I mean, that is some heavy duty stuff right there. Talk about high octane intensity.
Oh yeah, and his untimely demise in that movie too. Like I'm terrified of the ocean and decompression and all that, but like you watch it in the movie, you're like,
That's
my,
not a way to go.
what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
But okay, and then you got Planet Terror.
Planet? Yeah.
You know what? I could Planet Terror. I had a hard time wrapping my head around. If only. I mean, I understand it's Grindhouse, but I think Rodriguez went completely overboard with the concept with it, and was a little bit wasted there.
See, it's funny. I don't want to get off topic, but before we started filming, we were talking about how much you love Death Proof, the other half of Grindhouse. And I'm the opposite guy. I thought Planet Terror was awesome because it was a nice little tribute to like Fulci movies. Well, especially the really bad early 80s Italian movies. Yeah. And I was in love with the cast. I mean, look who was Jeff Fahey and Michael Biehn together. I mean, don't get me wrong, Death Proof had the man, Kurt Russell. But aside from that, it had a lot of, dialogue masturbation by Tarantino, like projected through the voices of a bunch of like, good-looking chicks. But anyways, but Michael Biehn, even though he was like the sheriff, he still rocked in that movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is true. But now there's the two flicks that are going to be showcasing here now for Dead Fest: The Divide and The Victim. Neither of which have been released in Canada yet.
No, I do believe in it. Derek will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the Canadian premiere of both movies. That's not at like a TIFF or Sundance kind of Toronto Film Festival from last year, but like, he's wording something.
I'm hearing that The Divide is supposed to be like the best role he's ever had.
Yeah, he steals the movie. I don't know. Are you familiar with the director Javier Gems? He's
not entirely. Only that he directed Hitman, and that movie stunk.
Yeah, we won't talk about Hitman. Before Hitman, he did an amazing French horror movie called Frontiers, which is like the French equivalent of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, sweet genius.
Very brutal, beautifully shot. Then he went to Hollywood, did Hitman. It was a complete nightmare. Apparently, if you come to the Q&A, I'm sure somebody will ask him about it, and he'll go off. So I guess The Divide was a big middle finger to Fox Studios.
Wow.
Like saying this movie's going to be nasty, it's going to be dark, and it's going to make you feel uncomfortable.
And who better to give us the dark and intensity than Michael Biehn?
56 years old and he's still rocking.
You got to love that.
Yeah. And now making his directorial debut with the other movie we're showing.
The Victim.
Yes, starring his wife.
And Danielle Harris.
If
you love Halloween, you know who we're talking about.
Yes. And she was also Bruce Willis's daughter in The Last Boy Scout.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and she was Steven Seagal's niece in Marked for Death.
This man is a fountain of knowledge here.
If I knew as much about something important in life as you do about pop culture, I'd have a really good job right now. But instead, I'm down here. So thanks for at least you come visit me.
I totally come visit you.
Absolutely.
You come and visit Kevin. Check out his collection of Michael Biehn movies because I'm sure there's plenty around here.
Bring me a coffee and 2 creams. You have my attention for about an hour. I will talk about whatever you want me to talk about movie-wise.
There you go. But we never really got to say what was his best role. What are we
Oh,
say?
Right, yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to go with Terminator because that's too obvious.
I think we're going to go with Tombstone, Johnny Ringo.
I think we are going to go with Tombstone. I would have said Aliens, but
there's very little he does in there.
You're right.
But what he does, I mean, Bill Paxton basically he takes that movie away. But no, it's got to be Tombstone.
Yeah, it is. And ironically, Bill Paxton's in Tombstone too.
You gotta love that.
Yeah, and the dude's worked with Cameron 3 times.
Yeah.
On his good movies.
He
was smart to get out, pull the chute.
I'm glad he wasn't in Avatar.
Let's not talk about Avatar.
Okay.
Well,
I think that pretty much wraps it up for us here on Movie Reflections. I'm Lee Conrad. This is Kevin Martin. We'll catch you on February 10th.
Yeah.
Looks like I won that one, so you owe me $30.
I thought it was 15. Welcome back. I'm Bill Roberts. Welcome back to Arts Talk. Wow, Lee and Kevin can talk.
Yeah, they seem to really
but
like
it was
Michael
great.
Biehn.
It was great, interesting stuff they were talking about Michael Biehn, and I think we learned quite a bit about it. At least I did.
I'm sad that I'll never watch his movies because they're too scary.
You're scared of the dark, is what you told me. Okay, then this isn't the best venue for you. We're keeping the lights on just for you. Anyway, we're going to be back right after this with an interview with Kevin Martin. Welcome back to Arts Talk Online. I'm Bill Roberts.
I'm Jennifer Boudreau.
We are standing with Kevin Martin, the owner of the Lobby DVD Shop on White. Welcome, Kevin.
Well, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming down to my humble abode.
This is such a neat place. First of all, tell us how you ended up down here.
Well, to be honest, after 13 years of working in the nightclub industry, I realized that maybe I'm just getting a tad too old to deal with the 18-year-olds, although ironically I'm still doing that anyways. And a friend of mine originally had this shop back in 2004, but he had to move to the East Coast and was going to close it down. And due to my obsession in movies, I'm like, let me do something that I should take pride in rather than slinging drinks to kids. So I got the cash together and I took over for my buddy in the summer of '05 and have been here ever since.
And so tell us a little bit about
the store itself, I mean, unlike most regular video stores, I tried to specialize just in a niche kind of market, which limits my crowd, but the people that are out there that dig it really dig it. So generally, I'm all about a lot of horror movies, 70s drive-in grindhouse classics, the Asian cinema, and just kind of the forgotten about titles. People come to me if they just desperately can't find a movie anywhere in the city. I do my best to track them down for them. I'm sort of like the bounty hunter of hard-to-find movies. Give me 2 weeks of your time, and I will make sure your movies are here waiting for you.
There you go. So you said you've been here for how long now?
It'll be 7 years this summer. So 2005, I opened up this summer.
Awesome. So do you, if somebody comes into the shop and says, "Hey, Kevin, there's a specific name," you can go and find it on the shelf just like that.
More or less, yeah, if it's here. That's the one perk about not being able to afford to have employees and me only. I have my own organizational system, and I think I know where everything is. So yeah.
And have you watched just about every film you have here?
Well, I was batting 100% when I first opened up, but by getting 30 new movies in every week, it's really tough to keep up. Yeah. But I make sure whatever I bring in, I read up on my reviews and the high recommendations, and just kind of network out there to see what would work with my customers in this store. So I'd say about 85%. I only
do you
got so
have
much
an inventory written down somewhere, or people coming in and saying, "Hey, I would like to watch this horror film," and then you have it or you don't have it?
Yeah, I got the inventory of everything in my shop, and if I don't have it, it's almost like, my God, I don't have it. I should probably get that in. It's half of the stuff I bring in is people talking to me, asking me, "Can you bring it in?" I'm like, absolutely.
So you'll order it in for somebody if they're
absolutely.
looking for it,
yeah,
desperately need it.
Yeah, I mean, half of this stuff, I thought I knew a lot about movies before I had the store, but talking with some of my regulars who are die-hard movie fans, that put me to shame, you learn a lot more. So, which is cool, it benefits the shop.
So what's your background, Kevin? Were you into making films? You said you were in the nightclub industry for a long time.
Yeah. To be honest, as a kid, like most kind of, film geek kids, I dreamt of, I can't wait to make movies one day. And then it came to, maybe I'll just be a writer instead. So I tried to dabble in that. And then it was like, well, maybe I'll just recommend and talk about movies to people. And I just tend to go on these rants. So I'm like, my friends used to always come over to my house and just snag all my movies off my shelf. And I'm like, wait a minute, I should be charging them for this. It's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
That's why, if you guys notice, you look around, my store basically looks like a living room with a bunch of movies around. Which, that's why I think when people walk in, I don't know, they get this weird cozy vibe in here. Well, cozy if you're into horror movies. I guess if you don't like them, a little bit creepy.
In you'll probably get murdered before you leave sort of way.
Yeah, and I think
that's nice.
another charm to my store, and I think I can claim, this is my claim to fame until somebody proves it wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm the only horror movie store located below a daycare in the entire world. If somebody could prove me wrong, just fire me an email at my store. But
so if the kids are upstairs and they go, "Mommy, what was that scream I just heard?"
Oh my God, I've been worried about maybe the kids might try to sneak down. That happened once. And if you guys, you see the front of my door with the giant pinhead statue there, these two little 6-year-old kids just... I'm like, oh God, I just gave them nightmares for the next 10 years. But ironically, their parents come right down and they're renting movies off me anyways. So I'm like, eventually they'll grow into it.
So the daycare, let's go on a field trip. Let's go downstairs to the lobby DVD shop and see Kevin.
This is what happens to kids that don't listen to the daycare.
That's true. This is a good way to start raising your kids to get into these kind of movies. Beautiful thing.
So what's upcoming for the shop over 2012?
Well, 2012, I'm just going to keep trying to bring in as many sweet movies as I can and educating the youth of the world because, as you know, Bill, we're getting older. Everything these days is a remake, a prequel, a reboot, and the stuff we grew up on is now being remade. So when a kid comes down and asks for a movie and doesn't realize it's a remake, it breaks my heart. So I'm like, I'll give you a 2-for-1 deal. But make sure you watch the original first. Obviously, with video stores slowly but surely dying off, thanks to Netflix and downloading. The way I can survive, or I have been, is I just got to treat my store like a vinyl store to the movie fans. Because no matter how much downloading or Netflix there is, it's like if you're a music lover, you still want to own the case and have it on your shelf, right? So hopefully that kind of support keeps coming strong, and I'll keep doing this.
So I'm sorry, are you selling the movies as well?
Oh yeah, you can buy right off the shelf if you want.
Okay.
I used to just do special orders, but I've literally ran out of room in my store, movie-wise. So people are now coming in from like small town Alberta and just taking a handful away with them.
That's great. So do you have a website?
Oh yeah. It's www.thelobby.dvdshop.com. But to be honest, go to my Facebook group. Everybody goes to my Facebook group. It's just the Lobby DVD Shop, and that's updated every day with trailers and here's what's coming this week. And if you have special requests of I'd like you to bring this movie in, that's the best way you can get a hold of me, because literally I'm just at my desk either watching a movie or staring in front of that computer all afternoon.
That's awesome. Well, Kevin, I'd like to thank you so much again for being on Arts Talk Online and allowing us to come and shoot in your wonderful little space that you've got here in White Ave.
Stop, you're making me blush. It's beautiful.
All right, thanks so much. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to the worst nightmare of all.
Welcome back to Arts Talk Online. Pinhead has decided to join us as part of our events segment. What are you so scared about?
Yay. Nothing.
He's a lovely looking man.
Uh-huh.
Very regal.
Beautiful.
Anyway, thanks again to Kevin Martin. Great interview. And thanks again for allowing us to be in his shop here at the Lobby DVD Shop on White. So we've got a couple of events we need to talk about really
Yes, we
quick.
do.
I have a couple. One is the Arts and Culture Council of Strathcona County is putting on Arts Expo February 11th and 12th. This is at the Community Center out in Sherwood Park. And it runs from 10 till 5, so it's like an artist trade show, basically. So artists will have tables there, they sell art. There'll also be live performances throughout the day. And the Silver Skate Festival is coming up, February 17th to the 20th. That's presented by Northgate Industries. That'll be at Horlack Park. And they're hoping, apparently they've brought in international snow sculptures, but there's no snow. So hopefully they'll get some snow before then.
I think that the snow is fake.
It could
I
be.
think
They
that
might
it's
have to
gonna
bring
be
in
fake.
those snowmaking machines they have at the ski hills. What
But
do you
it'll
have?
still be fabulous, though, even if it's
Of
fake.
course.
So.
And what have you got, Jennifer?
Reminder: Valentine's Day, guys, is in a week. So
It is.
let's get your flowers and stuff
What do you
for
think,
your
Pinhead?
co-host. I think for your co-host. Also, on February 14th is the meeting for the Edmonton Filmmakers Group at 7 p.m. at the Chapters on White Ave in the Starbucks, I think. And Dead Fest, February 10th. So this Friday, they are hosting it at the Metro Cinema at the Garneau. So check out some scary movies if that is your wish.
And that actually works out well because we're going to be speaking with Derek, who I believe is one of
Yes.
the organizers of Dead Fest coming up, so we'll get a whole lot more info on it.
Yes.
So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll be back right after this.
Which do you prefer? Pleasure or
Hi, welcome back. I'm Jennifer Boudreau,
I'm Bill Roberts.
and this is Derek Clayton. He does have a last name.
I do, yes, indeed.
So thanks for coming out with us. We want to talk with you a little bit about Dead Fest. You have an upcoming festival.
That's right.
Can you tell us a little bit about
Yes,
that?
I sure can. Actually, we do Dead Fest once a year. It's, as far as I know, Canada's only pure horror film festival. We do it once a year here in Edmonton. We're now located over at the historic Garneau Theatre.
Nice.
So that's our new digs. We are going to do the festival in October, but in the meantime, we've been doing a series of monthly events. Last month, we just showed The Shining, and it was almost a packed house, the old classic. And this month coming up, actually next week, I guess it would be this
Friday.
week. Friday. There we go. Friday, we're hosting a pretty iconic actor named Michael Biehn to
Wow.
town for two of his latest films.
Excellent.
Double feature. Michael's been in The Abyss. He's been in Terminator. He's worked really extensively with James Cameron. Aliens, Tombstone. He was even in Grindhouse just recently with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. I even saw him playing Topher Grace's dad in this little 80s set comedy. It was a new film, but it was set in the 80s, and he played Topher's
Yes, we did
dad.
just listen to Lee and Kevin chat about Michael Biehn.
did.
That's right. That's right.
Ever. So that's really exciting.
That's great that he's coming in.
Yeah.
And you were telling me earlier as well that you've just turned the Dead Fest into a not-for-profit organization.
Yeah, we've been kind of just floating along for years, and we decided to make it official. We just recently turned Dead Fest into a society, so we're legit now.
And how long has Dead Fest been going?
We've been, this is our 5th year coming up, we've there's been various incarnations of film festivals like this in Edmonton, but we've been around for 5 years now.
And what's your background, Derek? What made you want to do this festival?
I worked in film and TV. I still do occasionally, and
I'm an actress.
are you really?
Yeah, I'm just... Go on. Yeah.
I'll
Thanks,
I'll
Jennifer.
cast you in
That's
something.
It's good to know. I'll remember that.
Yeah, I just got involved because I kept coming into the store, and I met with Kevin, and he was involved with the fest at the time, and him and I hit it off, and of course I've been renting movies from forever, so he asked me if I wanted to kind of join the crew, and I did, and we haven't looked back since.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's been great.
So as you mentioned, you're a filmmaker. So was this the genre? Was horror?
Well,
were you
yeah,
kind of...
I love the genre. I'll clarify. I'm not a filmmaker. I'm the guy that I have no talent whatsoever. So I'm just the guy that brings them the money.
Okay.
Tries to get it somehow. But
You are now my new best friend.
Yeah.
oh, good.
When you hear
Okay,
that,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
all of
that's
us that are
good, that's good.
filmmakers,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
I'm the money man.
Good.
I don't have any, but I
Yeah,
get
you can
it
get
somehow.
That's
you
what
know.
we need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I worked on Fear Itself, the TV show that shot here.
So
in
did
Edmonton.
I.
You did.
I did some background work in 3 episodes of Fear Itself,
Oh,
actually.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's how I sort of. I've always loved horror movies, and back when I was a kid, I was collecting all the little Frankenstein toys and stuff like that before George Lucas came and shot my childhood to hell. But before that, I was a huge horror fan, and I got back into it when I was in my 20s, and I kind of haven't looked back and loved it. And then doing the TV show Fear Itself and being able to be around guys like John Landis and stuff like that was fantastic. And of course, it just segued into doing this film fest.
That's great.
Do you have a favorite horror film?
Oh, more than I can even mention, but probably Carpenter's The Thing was probably one of the first movies I saw when I was a kid. I was probably about 8, I guess, when I saw it. I caught it on TV. The folks weren't around for a quick moment. I watched it and loved it. I thought it was great. I should have been scared. But no, I actually ended up loving it. So.
Good. So coming up this Friday, February 10th.
Yeah.
How do people? Is there a website? How do they get tickets?
Yeah,
How do they get to the event?
www.deadfest.com. That's Deadfest, D-E-D, not with an A. So take the A out. Deadfest.com. Go on the website. There's information about tickets. You can come to Kevin's lovely store and get tickets. They're $15 in advance, $20 at the door. 2 movies. For the price of $15.
Oh, awesome.
Michael will be doing a Q&A, and there'll be additional cast members as well. His wife, Jennifer, a lovely co-star and producer, producing partner, she'll be in town for that, as well as the director of one of the films. And Michael directed the Victim, and we'll have the director of The Divide in as well. So we'll have 2 directors, major star, and a whole bunch of co-stars and producers coming in for a great Q&A. And we'll have booze. We'll be licensed. So you can actually have a drink in the movie theater.
Then there is no reason you should miss it. You should go for
I
sure
might
if you're a
actually
horror fan.
enjoy a horror film if there's liquor
You'd be drunk.
involved.
You wouldn't even be scared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
I might be scared of you, though, if you were drunk.
Probably. I'm pretty creepy. Yeah.
All right, Derek. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
To promote your festival. I think we might even actually try, if we can, get some footage actually on that Friday night, and we
More
can
than welcome. Come on
we can
out,
put it
for
on the
sure,
show, and
for sure.
that would be great. February 10th. Make sure you go to the website. Make sure you get out to Deadfest, and don't miss it. It'll be a great event. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back to Arts Talk Online. Thanks so much, Derek. Again, make sure you get out to Deadfest February 10th. Don't miss it.
We also want to talk about our live performance.
We do. As you may or may not know, we actually do pre-tape Arts Talk Online. And coming up
Just
on...
gave the secret away.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to give that secret away. The magic of
Filmmaking.
February 10th, we also are shooting, actually, that night, 2 shows in front of a live audience. So we want you to make sure that you can get out to that show. So you can maybe you can get to both. Maybe you can come and see us tape our show and then head off to Dead Fest. Maybe you can hit both events. So we're going to be actually at the Pour House Bistro at 10354 82nd Ave on February 10th from 7 till 10. We will have some live performers, which Jennifer's going to talk about. But as I said, we'll be taping 2 shows in front of a live audience. It's going to be fun.
I'm really excited. We have 6 performers for you. Lindsay Walker, Stu Bodie, Brad Kells, Alex Vicia, Rockabilly Dancers, which are belly dancers, taught him how to do it, so maybe he'll be performing as well. Maybe. And Dahlia Wakefield. We're also going to do some contests and have some audience participation, so it's going to be really a lot of fun.
So make sure if you want to actually be part of the show, then come out February 10th to the Pour House right here on White Ave. This has been great. Again, thanks to Kevin Martin and for allowing us to be here at his store, the Lobby DVD Shop on White. He's on 10815 White Ave downstairs. Make sure you come and visit. If you're looking for that particular horror movie that you can't find, come see Kevin and you'll find it for you.
I probably won't sleep for a week, but I mean, it was worth it just to be in here at least once in my life.
All right, thanks everyone. It's been another edition of Arts Talk Online. We will see you next week, which is what, February 15th? Depending upon what we might do, actually. We might even air February 14th because it's Valentine's Day and it will be a show with our live audience. So again, thanks everybody. I'm Joel Roberts.
I'm Jennifer Boudreau.
See you next week.